Passage is about what? Outsourcing. In the past, late 90s, everyone would talk about outsourcing across the world, especially in our country, especially Bangalore. So according to one professor of the Harvard University, generally if you take a company always focuses on core competency. Please write the expression core competency. We have just started and you're giving a wrong signal. Please write core, C-O-R-E, core competency. You all know the word competency. So in the past, companies would focus on the core competency and other areas also. But one professor by name Professor Prahalad, I suppose, an Indian and a professor at the Harvard University, he said the best thing for companies to focus on core competency and outsource other areas. When you outsource other areas, you get more time to focus on the core competency, one advantage, and also others, that is their core competency, they will be able to do better. Based on this concept, BPOs, later KPOs, came into existence. Business process outsourcing, knowledge process outsourcing. And they wanted to look at, especially call centers, customer care. They wanted to look at countries like India, Philippines, and some other countries, Asian countries, where a lot of people speak reasonably good English, and they wanted to outsource the call centers or the customer care centers. And based on that, this outsourcing concept came to our country, became very popular, and so popular, every Tom, Dick, and Harry would start a call center business. Finally, it was like a bubble. At one point, the bubble burst, and a lot of people had to close the shop. And today, it is not in the limelight. Still, a few companies, they are doing outsourcing business, and they are doing for the Americans, for the Britishers. The passage is all about outsourcing. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? How do they operate? And a few questions related to the framework. Shall I read out the first? Some of these you can answer based on common sense. The first question, which of the following is a disadvantage of outsourcing? First option, the relationship of partners are at stake. No. The quality of the business is always on the higher side. It is not on the higher side. Usually call centers, so many jokes are there. All these call agents, basically Indians, and they get the training on neutral accent or American accent or British accent. In fact, when I was in Bangalore, I would do accent training for some call center agents. Neutral accent, not British, not American. But whatever it is, Indians, they have certain expressions and certain words they mispronounce. The guy in the US can make out the call is from India, not from the US. And a lot of jokes on call center agents and call centers, how they work. But generally speaking, a few call centers, they would maintain the quality, but a lot of call centers always issue quality-related issues would surface. So second option is not at all correct. What is the third option? It is very difficult to control the quality. In the passage, today I cannot tell you where exactly it is, but it is there in the passage. I think the first paragraph, it is there. The third line, I suppose, the fourth line. If we outsource, just see the sentence above, rub off, above that. If we outsource, quality would suffer. So what is the third option here? It is very difficult to control the quality. The profit margins are low. So what is the answer based on this? Please make a note. Third option is the answer. I cannot write on that. This is a different software. Shall I move on to the next one? What compensation does the outsource expect? First one, the cost of maintenance should be borne by the outsourcer. No, that is not correct. In the event of loss, outsourcers should buy back the stock. For declining sales level, outsourcers should not be held responsible. The ambience should be the responsibility of the outsourcer. None of these are acceptable terms. So what is the answer based on that? What is the answer? The fifth option, none of these. Please make a note. None of these. Shall I move on to the next one? Outsourcing works best if generally outsourcing the parent company and the call center. So the parent company is in the US, the call center is in India or in Philippines or some other Asian country. So two different cultural backgrounds, two different work ethics, definitely a lot of problems, two different identities, two different entities. How does it work best? The relations between the partners are symbiotic. I don't know how many of you know the meaning of the word symbiotic. That's a very good word. Please underline the word symbiotic and write the meaning. It is a biology term, purely biology term. Symbiosis. Please write the noun form. Symbiosis. Symbiosis is a noun form. Symbiotic relationship, adjective. Means mutual benefit. Mutual benefit. In nature, we have so many examples of symbiotic relationship. A typical example, you all must be knowing the ribbon fish or clownfish. There's one English movie, I'm not quite sure about the pronunciation, Nemo or Nemo? Nemo. So it is all about a clownfish or a ribbon fish. Quite often, it goes and hides in a small animal that is known as sea anemone. It has a tentacles, and these tentacles protect the clownfish from enemies. It gets benefit. On the other hand, whenever the clownfish brings the food and has the food very close to the sea anemone, parts of the food get dropped, and the sea anemone depends on the remains of the food eaten by the ribbon fish or clownfish. So it is a mutual benefit. The clownfish gets protection, the sea anemone gets food from the clownfish. That is known as symbiotic relationship. If it is not symbiotic, imagine here both the partners get benefited. One partner gets benefited, the other partner doesn't get benefited. Then what is it called? What is that relationship called? Please make a note, it is called parasitic relationship. Parasitic, parasite. What is a parasite or who is a parasite? Generally we don't say who, we say what is a parasite. One animal depends on the other animal, and the other animal doesn't get benefited. Usually it is harmful. Then we use the word parasite. Then why I smiled when I said who is a parasite? Sometimes what happens, some people depend on parents for a long time, beyond the limit. Then we use the word parasite. Hope you got it. Yes, sir. Thank you. Now what is the answer here? First option is what? The relation between the partners are symbiotic. Hold that one. The outsourcer accepts a submissive role. Underline the word submissive. What is the opposite of submissive? Dominating. Please write the word dominate. Dominating nature, submissive nature. Dominate, opposite, submissive. It is not correct. It should be at the same level. High cost ambience is maintained. That is also not related to good relationship. Variety is sacrificed at the cost of high quality. This is also not a good thing. I think in the passage he talks about variety should be there. So what is the answer? The first option is the answer. Not only when it comes to, I think the last line on page 1, he talks about what is a good relationship, how is it compared. So one manager says, the last sentence on page 1, in the end, implicit trust is at the cornerstone of the relationship between an outsourcee and an outsourcer. Obviously, it should be a mutually beneficial one thing, and parties should trust each other another thing. Only then it works out. Otherwise, it doesn't work out. So answer is the first option. Shall I move on to the next one? I'm quite happy to see the number. Slowly the number is going up. That's really good. A good sign. Now question number 4. What prohibits entrepreneurs to take up new outsource? Dominance of outsourcer, not the exact reason. Fear of losing existing business, not correct. High overheads in maintaining ambience. Please underline the expression overheads. Overheads means expenditure for interiors and all. Not essential, not core, but other things. Now this is fans and all essential infrastructure, but expenditure beyond that, we use the expression overheads. Uncertainty in reaching the sales target. I think the passage talks about the pressure of sales target. So what is the answer based on that? The fourth option is the answer. What puts off customers? Here he talks about the customers. Generally human nature, there is a saying in English, what is it? Variety is a spice of life. Have you heard of that? Variety is a spice of life. Every day, same stuff, you get bored. It becomes monotonous and boring, and you don't feel like listening to the same person. You don't feel like looking at the same face. In human nature, we can't avoid it. And we want change all the time. In fact, Charles Darwin, a famous biologist who gave the theory of evolution, once he said, nothing is constant in this world except the constant change. Have you understood? That is true. We all want change. So what is the first one? Lack of ambience. Proper ambience, sometimes, yes, it is true. Hold that one. Unhealthy competition, nothing to do with the customer. Poor quality standards, to some extent, right? Absence of variety. So human nature, we always want variety. That is the most important. So what puts up customers based on the passage also? What is the answer? The fourth option, absence of variety. Based on the passage, based on the context, shut your eyes to many things. Look over, not correct. Sleep, no. Avoid storm, irrelevant. Winking, not at all relevant. I don't know why I've used the word winking here. What is the fifth option? Overlook, please. In business, when you want to join hands with someone, partnership business, two individuals, they don't have the same wavelength. What you like, the other person may like, may not like. But if you want a healthy partnership, obviously, you have to ignore, overlook certain things, then you move ahead. But you insist on certain things, then it doesn't work out. Very simple. So answer is the fifth option, overlook. Means what? Not to consider, just ignore certain things. Rub off. What is the context here? If we outsource, quality would suffer, and that would have a negative rub off on our business. Negative rub off means what? Effect or impact. So what is the answer here? Third option is the answer. I cannot write, please listen and write. Answer the previous one, fifth option, overlook. And this one, rub off, means what? Third option, impact. There is a saying in English, I usually tell students, I strongly believe in that. What is it? When you are taught by the best, you become the best. That's one saying. Another saying, if you rub your shoulders with a genius, you rub your shoulders with a genius, you tend to become a genius. Have you heard of that? When you rub your shoulders with a genius, you also become a genius. So based on this rub off, I wanted to give that. It is true. When you interact with intellectuals, when you interact with people, those who have high standards, invariably your standards go up. But you always deal with or interact with or spend your time with mediocre people, you tend to become a mediocre person. There's another saying in Telugu, I'll translate that. If there's a crow, you all know the bird crow. A crow among swans behaves like a swan. A swan among crows behaves like a crow. Very simple. You got it? The impact of circle makes a lot of difference. If you are in the right circle, obviously success will be inevitable. But you're an intelligent person, a wrong circle, chances are bleak. Now please write, we'll move on to the next one. Let me see the word jealousy, all no. What is the idiomatic expression for jealousy? Green-eyed monster, please write, green-eyed monster. Green eyes, we don't have, but if you go to the West, Americans, Britishers, they have blue eyes, green eyes. We call them cat eyes, cat, C-A-T. Cat eyes usually green or blue. Americans and Britishers, they do have, we don't have. Indians, we have either black or dark brown. So green-eyed monster means what? A person full of jealous. Shall I move on to the next one? Players, in this context, the context is about what? Business people, entrepreneurs. So players means what? Entrepreneurs, hold that one. Sportsmen, no. Workers, no. Partners, no. Politicians, no. So answer is the first option. Now, opposite in meaning. All CCE students, in a second they will answer this one. So implicit, what is opposite? Explicit, first option. But write the meaning of the word candid. Candid means what? Frank. To be frank, British expression. To be candid, American expression. To be candid, American. Americans are very frank. Britishers are diplomatic. Imagine a Britisher doesn't like you or one of the guys. He thinks the person is not good. He doesn't say you are not good. He says, I don't think you are good. You are not good. Very harsh. I don't think you are good. Sounds better. So diplomatic. Whereas Americans, on the page, they say you are not good. And imagine in our country, we are quite busy at home, someone visits, and actually we don't want to entertain, but still we say, come, come, please. And we spend half an hour. After half an hour, we say, this fellow has wasted my time. Not always, sometimes. But Americans, they open the door, they're quite busy. Imagine they say, at the moment I'm busy, please come some other time. They don't care. We can't take that. Imagine you go to someone's house, that fellow opens the door and says, I'm busy, come tomorrow. How do you feel? You never step onto that, never go to that house in your lifetime. Ruled out. So, candid, other words are rather easy. Outspoken. Outspoken is frank. Again, frank. Candid, outspoken, both mean the same. Dominant, dominating personality. What is opposite? Progressive? No. Weak-headed? No. Submissive? Hold that one. Laid off. Lay off, please write lay off. Lay off, it goes with corporate sector. Lay off means what? Stop the services of some employees. They have been laid off. Please write one sentence. Many employees have been laid off. Many employees have been laid off. Write one more example. The company has seen many layoffs. The company has seen many layoffs. Here I have used as a noun, layoffs. Next word is also an important word. Please write the meaning of the word hostile. Hostile means what? Enmity. Write the word enmity. Enmity. Also write not friendly. Not friendly, easy one, but better word, please write antagonistic. Antagonistic. I cannot write A-N-T-A-G-O-N-I-S-T-I-C, antagonistic. Means hostile. Now answer, you got all the words, all the questions, 10 questions. Has anyone got all the 10 correct? 9. Very good, give him a big hand. Oh, one girl there, give her a big hand. That's very good. These are all, next 5 questions, what do they deal with? Easy or difficult? Easy or silly? Okay, fine. They had to face much troubles. What is a noun here? Please underline the word troubles. Troubles means it's a countable noun. Countable noun, do you use much or many? So please correct it. They had to face many troubles during their journey to West Bengal. Most of the 5 years plans or most of the 5-year plans. Please strike off the letter S. 5-year plans. One of my student or one of my students? Not for CCE students, this question. They will answer within no time. One of my students. She is more cleverer. No. I will ask the question, what is the adjective here? Please underline the word cleverer. What is the adjective clever? Positive. What is the comparative? Cleverer. And what is the superlative? Cleverest. Now underline the word more. Can you use 2 comparative forms? No. So what is wrong with this part? More should not be there. Please strike it off. She is cleverer than any other girl of her age. More should not be there. Please strike it off. 15th one is rather important, not that easy. The harder, please add the definite article the. The harder you work, the better division you get. The harder, the better. Comparative parallel. The higher you go, the cooler it is. The more you spend, the less you have. Very simple. So these are all outdated. I'm sorry to say that. Don't expect these questions like these. This also, I think this is an old paper. Usually these days they haven't, last 2 or 3 years they haven't been giving stories or something like this, completely ruled out. Now the para jumbles are so difficult to comprehend, forget about getting the right order. And this one goes with graduates or school students. School students. Now what is this about? What is the broad framework? A king wanted to give gifts and all of a sudden a bee came up and it wanted a special gift. What is that one? Whenever it does something, it has to inflict pain. And then the king says, fine, I will grant you that wish. I'll give you a sting, but you can use it only once. And because after that, you cannot survive, implicit, implied. And conclusion based on that, today also the bee cannot survive after stinging. Now what is the first sentence here? One day, one fine day, long, long ago, once upon a time. All these go with stories. So E is the first sentence. One day Zeus, the king of Mount Olympus, was giving out gifts to beasts, birds and insects. Now what is the second sentence? A is the second sentence. To his surprise, a little honeybee came before his throne and said, of all the gifts you could give me, only one will do. I would like the power to inflict great pain whenever I choose to. Underline the word inflict. Make someone suffer or cause someone suffer, inflict. And it takes the word pain, inflict pain. And what is the reaction of the king? Surprised. So what is the third sentence? See, you please make a note. What is the first sentence? E is the first sentence. What is the second sentence? A is the second sentence. What is the third sentence? Reaction of the king. C is the third sentence. What an awful wish. Underline the word awful. Awful has a negative connotation. Please write terrible. First you write terrible. Then you write very bad, awful, very bad or terrible. And write the combinations: awful place, awful food. Generally it goes with food, it goes with place. Performance, awful performance, bad performance. So what an awful wish, said great Zeus, but I will grant it. That is the third sentence. What is the fourth sentence? Are you guys listening? Why no response? What is the fourth sentence? B is the fourth sentence. I hereby give you a sharp sting, but I'm sure you will use this weapon carefully only in times of anger and strife. And continuation of that, what is the next one? F is the next one. What is the number? Fifth, F. You will get to use it only once. For using it will cost you your life. And based on that statement, what is the conclusion? D is the last sentence. What does it say? And to this day, the little honeybee dies after it stings. I don't want to ask the question. I don't want to ask. We'll move on. The next 5 questions, what do they deal with? Even these are easy, should not be a problem. The police commissioner burst into rage. Underline the word rage. Burst into rage means became very angry. Please write very angry or annoyed. Burst into anger, highest level. So burst into rage and ordered immediately suspension of the inspector who had arrested the innocent boy. Now here the given phrase is what? Ordered immediately suspension. Underline the word suspension. Which part of speech is it? Noun. Before that you use an adverb or an adjective. Adjective. But immediately which part of speech is it? Adverb. So what is your answer? Ordered immediate suspension. Ordered suspension, but immediate. So which option is that? Third option is the answer. Ordered what? Immediate suspension. He would be like to have some ice cream. Rather silly. Please strike off. B. He would like to have some ice cream. Which option is that? First option. Please write one sentence, two sentences in your notebook. Please write the first sentence. I want to meet the manager. I want to meet the manager. I want to meet the manager. Is it right or wrong? Grammatically speaking, it is right. No problem as such. Write the next one. I would like to meet the manager. I would like to meet the manager. Now, first sentence underline want. Second sentence underline would like to. So what is the difference between these two? Want is demanding, brackets right, demand. Rude, also write the word rude. Would like to is very polite, brackets right, polite. So when you go to someone's office, you can't afford to say, I want to meet so and so person, not appreciated. What are you supposed to say? I would like to meet so and so person. Fine. Shall I move on to the next one? Not knowing the language and had no friends in the country, he found it impossible to get a job. Had no friends, but we'll see the options. Has no, with having not, having no friends. So which one seems better? The fourth option. Not knowing the language and having no friends in the country, he found it impossible to get a job. Having no friends. 24. This is rather difficult. She will not attend the meeting until she is asked to. But better word here, the fourth option, unless. Please write unless. Please write one sentence in your notebook. Unless she writes clearly, unless she writes clearly, we cannot understand. Unless she writes clearly, we cannot understand. Same pattern, they change the position. But in the exam, quite often they ask questions related to what we call double negative with the word unless. Put a star mark and write the next sentence. Unless she doesn't write clearly. Unless she doesn't write clearly. So is this right or wrong? First you underline the word unless and write negative expression, negative. Then you underline doesn't. That is also negative, right? Negative. You cannot use in the same clause two negative expressions. Brackets, right? Double negative. Double negative is not acceptable. It is not correct. Mark it wrong. Unless she writes, unless she doesn't write is not correct. Because of his smart work, he is in the best books of his employer. This is rather difficult. It is based on an idiomatic expression. How many of you have chosen the third option, in the good books? Raise your hands. That is the answer. Very good. I appreciate. In the good books of his employer. Please underline in the good books of. That's an idiomatic expression. It means to have a good opinion. To have a good opinion. In someone's eyes, have a good opinion. Someone thinks good of you. Then we use this expression. Imagine the manager thinks you are a very good employee and he has a good rapport with you. Then what do you say? I'm in the good books of the manager. You should always try to be in the good books of the manager. Otherwise it becomes a problem. Okay? Now that's it. All easy or difficult? Easy. 26 to 30. Close. Have I skipped any questions? We have been doing in a systematic way. It's only 225. How come? Inflation has always remained a key parameter to the country's economic growth. Calculate? No. Measure? Seems right, hold that one. No. Implicate? Judge. No is also right, but you have to decide between measure and know, which is a better word. Measure is a better word. So please make a note. Second option is the answer. Better, usage point of view. Over the past decade, we have also seen Indian politicians highlight the issue of inflation to increase their vote banks. So they use the vote banks and talking about what? Issue of inflation. Ahead of Union Budget 2015, pretty old passage, it is not inflation but deflation that economists and analysts are worried about. Inflation is a negative thing, obviously, you all know that. Inflation is higher side or lower side? Higher side. What is opposite? Lower side, opposite direction, deflation. So according to economists and analysts, we should not worry about inflation, we have to worry about deflation. The wholesale price index during the month of January was dragged down to 0.39% as a dip of 0.11%. Generally, what do you say? What is the appropriate preposition here? Where are the options? Compared, measured, per, calculated, against. Fifth option, against a dip of. Underline the word dip. Dip, how many of you know the meaning? Many of you must be knowing, and it has got different connotations. First, you write the expression holy dip, H-O-L-Y. Usually youngsters, when I say holy, they think of H-O-L-I. Not that holy. H-O-L-Y, holy. Holy dip. When you visit Kashi or you go there and you see the river Ganges, you take a dip. What is that called? Holy dip. You all know that. Then you write the expression double dipper. Double dipper. D-I-P-P-E-R. He is a double dipper, she is a double dipper. Means what? This doesn't go with our culture. Perhaps slowly it will come. In the US, generally they have this parties and all, and they go for buffet. Today we also have buffet. And everything is spread out. No one serves you. You have to take the plate and whatever you like, you have it. And then what happens sometimes, people imagine someone is having French fries and the sauce is over there. They dip once, they have a bite, and they're not supposed to dip again. That is very bad because already they have taken a bite. The second time, they spend 5 minutes here and there. After 5 minutes, they go, they dip. They are known as double dippers. Double dippers, it is considered bad manners, and they lose respect in the eyes of the public. It is not acceptable behavior. And today I see that when I go to malls, in some malls they offer pickles and certain things, big containers, and they keep small bowls. You can taste. They keep a spoon also. Hopeless guys, they use a spoon, they have it, and they put the spoon back into that. That is too much. Not at all acceptable. So, different connotations. Now, what is the next one? However, analysts and economists believe that this is not good sign for the Indian economy totally. They should have used the word in totality. Please write the expression in totality. Totality, T-O-T-A-L-I-T-Y, totality. Means complete picture, in totality. In the month of January, fuel and power inflation, 28, declined, slide, decreased, slumped, surged. Declined, slide, decreased, slumped. All are what? Synonyms. Only one opposite word is there. Which one is that? Surged. So answer is what? The fifth option, surge. Write the meaning of the word surge. Surge means in this context, move ahead, move forward, move forward. It goes with a group of people, all of a sudden they move forward, surge. It also goes with waves, tidal waves. The inflation of primary articles surged to 3.27% as compared to 2.17%, which was in December. Noted, registered, stated, marked, posted. What is the word registered? Second option. Am I right? Registered, based on the context, which was registered in December. Numbers and all register. Deflation in the world is affecting us as well. Manufacturers are losing their investing, holding, purchase, money, pricing. But what is the next word? Underline the word power. Investors are losing, manufacturers are losing their investing power. Manufacturers, they purchase or they invest? Purchase? Invest. I think the key says the third option. Am I right? Fifth option, pricing power. Pricing power. You have to consider between the first and the fifth. Manufacturers are losing their investing power. This is also grammatically correct. Contextually also right. But here deflation in the world is affecting us as well. Manufacturers are losing their pricing power. What do you understand from that? This is also right. Pricing power means what? They are not able to price it properly based on the returns. Keeping the returns in mind, they are losing the power. Usually who has the power to fix the price? The manufacturer. They are losing that one. So answer is the fifth option, pricing power. That's it. Surprising. Really surprising. Have I been very fast or the paper has been like that? Paper has been like that.